Hi everyone, welcome to the next video from this series of fruit pictures from Johanna Basford's Small Victories. Now we're going to be doing this one here today, so I am going to come in close so that you can see it. Now this could be blueberries, but I looked at some blueberry pictures and they didn't have these sort of stems that Johanna has drawn here. Now obviously Johanna doesn't always draw realistically, but I found this picture of some blackcurrants, which I thought looked pretty much like this. They've got like a star-shaped bit and stems and things. So that is what I'm going to be using as my guide picture, blackcurrants. So here we go. I've also done pictures before, actually. Give me a minute. No, I can't do that. I've done pictures before of blueberries, so I thought blackcurrants would be a bit different. So there we go. So you can see they're highly shiny. They're slightly bluey black, I think. So that's that. Let me just stick my pencil sharpener on top of it so it's there in shot for us. There we go. Right, so what am I going to do first? Well, I have a look at them and I don't think they're pink. I think they're definitely blue and black rather than pink in colour. So I'm not going to do a base of pink like I did for the blackberries. I'm going to do a base of blue. Now I could use a purpley blue, a blackish blue, or just an indigo blue. I'm having a look. I think indigo is going to be best. I don't think there's any purple in there. Now I've got to sharpen this and I'm going to lift it off. It's going to be annoying. There we go. Let's put that down there. There we go. Right. So these are Polychromos pencils, by the way. This is the dark indigo. And what we're going to do is try and avoid colouring these stalky bits, which as you can see are in sort of brown. And just do these. Now we want to leave a white shine. Now I think what I'm going to do is to go around the edge with quite a few layers and then start to fade it towards the middle. I'm going to do this a little bit differently to how I've done some of the others, and I'm thinking the shine might be towards the top, so I'm going to slowly fade that blue here and leave that sort of lighter area at the top. And then we're going to go back in a minute with a black and make that more defined. Now this one, we're looking at the bottom of it, and then we've got going to have shadow from the one above, so I'm not really sure where the shine's going to be. I think it might be more likely to be down here. Let's have a look. We've got one here that's overlapped by one look, and the shine is there. And that one, look, the shine is just above the bottom. So I'm not really sure, because it's trying to fit it in really. Maybe we'll put it there. So I'll keep this dark here, going around the little star shape. And make that the shine there. So I'm just going to darken up a few bits so that we can see. That's a bit shiny. It's a little bit too dark for me. I'm going to just grab my eraser. Just rub that back a bit. There we go. I can leave it like that for now. I will fiddle with it more when I put my black in. Now this one I'm thinking shine sort of here. So again, more intense at the bottom, so more layers, spending a little bit more time down here. I want a line all the way round. That helps it look rounded in shape, you know, spherical, and then less here, and then there's my shine, which I'll just do quite lightly like that. Now this one I'm thinking shine probably here, so I'm thinking basically sort of central that way, but high. That's where I'm thinking the shine's probably going. If you look at those, that's probably what's going on there. Excuse me. I don't know if anyone's had blackcurrants. I've had blackcurrant jam, it's very nice. But blackcurrants, they're quite sour. I was doing some research on fruit actually when I was trying to look up what all these different fruits were. And there's one called a miracle fruit or a miracle berry. My son had heard of it. I don't know if you guys have. I'll tell you anyway because I find it quite fascinating. That it has a strange effect. So you eat it and it changes the taste. So if you eat it and then have a lemon, it tastes like an apple. It makes sour things taste sweet. I thought that was quite fascinating. So it obviously does something in your mouth to your taste sensors so that it affects them. And I guess there are other things that do that. You know, if you eat a certain food and then another food, you might have a bit of the taste of the other one left behind. But this is quite extreme in my opinion, you know, to change something from sour to sweet. I find it quite interesting. And, you know, I wonder if people could use it in, like when they're breeding fruit and veg, to make them taste sweeter than they are, because we tend to be making our fruit and veg a lot sweeter these days, but actually it's not very good for us to do that. So I just got to wipe my nose because it changes our taste, and we sort of crave sweet things all the time, which isn't very healthy for us. But I suppose that might still make us want sweet things. Black, maybe it's like adding sweetener. It doesn't necessarily interact with our body, well, with our blood sugar, but it can still make us want sweet things. Or I think the research in sweetener is changing. So I'm going to go back over what I've done now, but in the black. Still leaving this sort of shine. Yes, because it used to be thought that the reason that sweeteners weren't healthy because they made you still crave sweet food, and because they were extra sweet, if you used as much of them as you used sugar, you would get an even sweeter tooth. But I think these days the thought is a bit different, that it's more to do with the impact of your gut bacteria and things like that, that changes the way you respond to things. So I don't know, but I try don't eat sweeteners. Some of them aren't good for my tummy. There are some ones that are known to affect tummies, which they do for me. And I just don't, I'm not really interested, to be honest. You know, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat sweetener, I don't want to eat really sweet foods. So I do eat fruit for the health benefits mainly. I tend to eat bananas and grapes most of the time, really sweet fruit. Now you can see this is not as black as this, so we're going to have to layer it up a bit more. At the moment it is looking more like a blueberry than a blackcurrant. So I'm going to go back in and really layer that up. But I tend not to have sugary stuff. I mean, it's very difficult to avoid. Like today I'm going to be having fish fingers, which have got added sugar in anyway. But also I'll probably have a bit of tomato ketchup on them, and that's got added sugar in. And then if I get indigestion, I'll have a Rennie, which is an antacid tablet, which will have sugar in, you know. So I do have it, but just not, I don't add it into my diet. Right, how are we doing? That's looking better. They certainly look blacker. This one has got quite a big white bit. I'm just going to reduce that a little bit. There we go. And be careful when you're trying to layer colours up. don't be tempted to rush and press hard, because you'll just dent the paper and it will spoil your picture underneath, or make it very difficult for you when you come to colour that underneath one. I don't know what's under here. Oh, it's some squares with flowers in. Nice. There's a lot of flowers in this book, I noticed. I think, which is lovely. We all like flowers, I think. But I think some of the pages with flowers on I won't do as videos. I was going to do lots and lots of videos, but there is lots of potential in the book here. But I think there are so many flowers, I might do some not on camera, you know. But I will do quite a lot. Okay. I might leave that there for now and have a think whether it needs more. Now looking at look, we've got a very woody looking stalk here, but the actual stems on the currants are quite thin and green. We've got again quite a light green leaf. You probably can't see the leaf. Oh, it's a really light green leaf, isn't it, on there? So, but we also need to think about, oh, there we go, this brown. Let's do something with this brown now. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab this. Gosh, it's so dark outside. My boy's going to be coming home in the dark. I guess he's getting used to it. This is the raw umber. I'm going to use this first quite gently. I think we're almost that sort of colour. It's quite difficult to match. Oh my, it's just checking the time because I've got to put the food on. But my one boy's here, he's going to put it on. So that now it looks to me like there's some dents and dips in there. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is grab this burnt sienna and do some marks on here, like in the middle, for example, or stripes on this one. Just sort of imitate that a little bit. And mine's a little bit darker, but I think it's okay. I'm happy with that. Now our leaves, as I say, very pale, almost yellow on the edges. I think I'm going to go for really the light green. This is the light green. It's 171 light green, and I'm going to use that first on everything quite lightly. It's narrow, isn't it, that stem? Gone out the lines there. Never mind. And these leaves are completely the wrong shape, but Johanna does make it up a little bit. But maybe I've picked the wrong type of berry. But I just wanted to do something different. There we go. Now what they do have is they have a line down the middle which is a bit darker and lines coming out. You can't see. So look, there's a dip and some lines coming out. We don't have that in our drawing, but we could pop that in anyway with a bit of artistic license. So I'm going to use the grass green for that. And whoops, everything's going squiff. A line here, and just draw some in. If you don't want to draw them in, you can just do the one down the middle or not at all. There we go. Now I want to make that a little more intense, but I don't want to add more green because it's quite pale in the picture, as I keep showing you. So ooh, that's my ring on the desk. I'm going to use the light chrome yellow. Ooh, let's get it all in shot for you to just make it all a little bit darker, or a little bit more intense without having to make it really dark. This is a brand new one. I replaced some of my teeny tiny pencils the other day. got a box of new ones. Well, it's not completely full, but there we go. So now have a look. What do you think? I think it's a fairly close colour. It's reasonable, isn't it? So there we are. So that one didn't take too long. Our blackcurrants. There are blackcurrants. I think if you don't look at the picture you're colouring, copying, then they look better. So there we go. So yes, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.